Have you ever stood in front of someone who's grieving and suddenly your brain, just locks up tighter than grandma's cookie jar? You know what I mean? You want to say something to them that's comforting, but all that seems to come out of your mouth is nice shoes, or even worse, you start quoting those fortune cookies because your brain sort of panicked and you just didn't know what to say. So my friends, don't worry, you're not alone. I just want you to understand, comforting someone who's grieving is one of life's it's got to be one of life's trickiest and most awkward challenges. And today what I want to do is just sort of go through and break down some of these things together, and I want to just sort of go over and show you what to say and maybe what not to say, and maybe how to show up with words that do bring real comfort, not cringe. Now do me a favor, guys. Listen, grief is no small thing. I've done other videos about that. As many of you know, I lost my wife. It's been 2 years, and it's raw. It's messy. It doesn't. There's not a script that you can follow. But here's the good news. You don't need to, guys. You don't need to be perfect with your words. But you just understand that you do need to be. I think the best word would be present, and a little thoughtful. And yes, we're going to mix in some humor a little bit along the way, because grief is heavy enough, don't you think? And it's heavy enough without us all sounding like sort of robots at a funeral. So guys, I'm Mark. Welcome to Hit the Mark today. Again, I'm just going to go through some things here, some of the things that I've experienced. Part number one, the power of just showing up. And let's start with this. Sometimes guys, the most powerful thing that you can say is nothing. Nothing at all. Just your presence, just being there is often more healing, I guess you can, than the fanciest sentence that you could ever come up with. People don't always remember the words you use, but they never forget that you showed up. I mean, I was so blessed to have so many people when my wife passed. So think of it like this. Grief is like being lost in the middle of a storm. You don't need to hand someone you don't need to hand someone a weather report. You just need to sort of stand next to them and maybe hold an umbrella and say, "Hey, my friend, I'm not leaving. I'm here for you." So let me give you some examples you can actually use. I hope these make sense. And they're real simple, guys. I'm here for you. That's the first one. How about this one? I don't have the right words, but I care about you. That's a really good one. How about, you don't have to go through this alone. Those were some that really, those three right there really helped me. And they're really simple. Do you see how simple that is? You don't need to channel your Shakespeare. You just need to be your real self, your authentic self. All right, in part two here, what not to say. So guys, I'm going to try to be a little humorous here and direct, but man, I heard some crazy things, and I don't think they were done out of being mean. They just, now let's talk about the danger zone. What? How about the phrases you should avoid at all costs? Yeah, we're going to do that. And these are the things, I mean, like I said, they say them with good intentions, but they land, oh my God, about as well as a lead balloon. So, guys, I hope, don't beat yourself up if you said these, because we've all done it. Here goes the no-go list. Okay, Everything happens for a reason. Whew. Let me translate that. Let me minimize your pain with philosophy. Doesn't work. They're in a better place. I hated that one. Maybe, but right now your friend or your loved one just wants them here. How about this one? At least they lived a long life. Guys, grief doesn't care about math. Please understand that loss is loss. I know how you feel, Mark. Even if you've lost someone too, every grief story is different, guys. It really is. Grief is, like I said, messy. And here's the classic one. Be strong. It's not a freaking gym membership, you guys. It's grief. They don't need to flex right now. So if you want to comfort someone, cross those statements off your script list immediately. Okay? How about this? Part 3, we're going to do some words that really, I believe, truly can maybe help you or help the person that's dealing with the grief. And guys, you got to be encouraging when you do this. So what do you say instead? Well, here's a little cheat sheet of, I guess you could call them phrases or sentences or whatever, that I believe actually bring comfort to the person who suffered the loss. How about this one? I'm so sorry. I wish I could take your pain away. Tell me about them. I'd love to hear maybe your favorite memory of who you just lost or who you're grieving over. Hey, I'm here to listen. No rush. No judgment. How about, would it help if I brought over dinner or lunch this week? Now, guys, do me a favor. Do you notice something in those statements? The words are sort of short and simple, and they're real. They don't try to fix the grief. They just sort of stand alongside it or stand beside it. And sometimes practical offers like, things like bringing food or looking after the kids or even just maybe, hey, can I do some errands for you? Those actions really do speak louder than words. I hope that makes sense, guys. Part 4. So here's the role of humor. And as many of you know watching my videos, I try to always throw some humor into it. And I hope this comes across like that, So let's address the big question, all right? Is it okay to laugh in the middle of grief? What do you think the answer is? Send me a comment. Well, I think the answer is absolutely. Grief and laughter, they're not enemies. In fact, I believe sometimes the silliest, the funniest stories maybe show up at the saddest moments. What do you think? And those little sparks of jokes and humor, well, I just think they're like oxygen. They're like fresh air. When someone feels like they're drowning. So guys, here's a quick rule though. If they laugh, it's healing. Understand that. If you laugh and they don't, maybe hit the pause button a little bit on the comedy routine. Okay? You just got to sort of play that by ear and feel the waters out there. So here's an example. If your grieving friend jokes that their loved one maybe would have hated the flowers at the funeral, well, laugh with them. That moment of connection, I believe, can be, again, what I think is just good medicine. But again, don't test the waters. Don't force it. Let the grieving person lead the way. All right. Hey, gonna keep going here. Almost finished up. Part 5. What about comfort from Scripture? I'm a preacher's kid, and I try my best sometimes, to see if I can share some of the things that I use to help me. And for those of you who lean on faith, the Bible gives us, it really does give a beautiful roadmap for comfort. And how about this one? Blessed are those who mourn. Have you heard that? For they shall be comforted. And that's in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 5, verse 4. Here's another one. The Lord is closest to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That's in Psalm 38. I'm sorry, Psalm 34, verse 18. And weep with those who weep. That's I'm sure you've heard that one. That's in Romans 12, verse 15. And guys, just do me a favor. Notice this last one. It doesn't say cheer up those who weep. It doesn't say give them a lecture and say it doesn't say that. It says weep with them, share their tears. That's what true comfort to me really looks like. All right, let's finish up here, guys, with some final thoughts. Let's maybe see if we can maybe bring it all together, guys. And at the end of the day, there's no perfect script. Please understand that for grief. There's just not. You don't need to you don't need to memorize those fancy lines. You just need to be there. Just need to show up and speak from your heart and listen more than you talk. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Let the two ears work more. Here's the truth, my friends. People don't need your perfection. They really don't. They just need your presence. That's probably the best way to put it. Just be there. So do me a favor. The next time you're standing in front of someone, a loved one or a friend who's grieving, and maybe your brain starts to panic a little bit as far as what to say, just remember this: keep it simple, keep it kind, and when you're in doubt, bring tacos. That's a good one, huh? Because guys, really, I don't care how sad you are. Nobody has ever cried while holding a really good taco, right? I know, I'm just being silly. So hey guys, anyways, as I said, I appreciate you watching Hit the Mark today, and if this video helped you, do me a favor. Hit that like and share it with somebody. Hit that like button, share it with someone. If you know someone who maybe just went through some sort of grief, see if this can help them out. I've got some other videos, and maybe you're sharing it will encourage them a little bit. And of course, we always love it when you subscribe to Hit the Mark today. And I just try to bring forth some different videos with some wisdom that I've learned, some humor, and just some life lessons that I believe will help you thrive, even in the hardest seasons. So again, guys, thanks for watching, and remember, your words matter more than you think. So go out there and learn the right words that help you hit the mark today.